I had asked you some questions yesterday. Online people, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I had asked you some questions yesterday. Did you check? Okay, what are the questions I asked yesterday? What was the first thing I asked? Related to WPI, I asked something. And by the way, I forgot to ask you. Last week I had given you one assignment. A pretty big assignment I had given you. What was it about? Syllabus. Did you do that work? Yes, no. How many of you have honestly done it? So some people don't even remember what it was. How many of you have no idea about what I am talking about? So what had I asked you to do?
Sir, you told to write the meaning for the main syllabus
Ha.
and each and every word.
So for every single word, write one line. The meaning of what that word means. You have to search and write. So how many of you have done? Raise your hands. Let's see. Completely raise your hands. Okay, these many people. Rest of the people, why haven't you done it? No time? No time? Why did you not do it?
I did, sir.
You did? Okay. Wrong person. You also done. Why do you not do?
I had to draft emergency.
Okay, alright. You have done it? No. Why not? Huh? You forgot. You, sir? No. Why not?
Had no time.
No time. You are absent. You done it. You have done it. You have done it yourself. No? You? No. See, I completely understand when you get this thought in your head that sir is asking us, mentors are asking us, teachers are asking us to do things which look like very much away from what exam is asking. Getting my point? You'd feel it, and I completely understand it. What you would feel? Whatever I am asking you to do, you might feel this does not come in exam. Why should I know? Let me study what comes in the exam. What comes in your exam? What comes? Current affairs, advanced content. This is what comes in your exam. And whatever I am asking you to do is absolute basic. I would say it is absolute basic. Whatever you learn in the class are basics. So this is even below basic. Whatever assignment I gave you is below basics. Basics, what you learn in the class, fundamentals, you learn in the class. But exam, no, that's not what you get in the exam. I completely agree with this. But I can tell you for sure, a person who has not done this work, you spend your entire year doing this research and analysis, development of content, do it on your own. You take 3 years, crack the exam and show me. Without doing these things, you crack the exam and show me. Yes? Not even a single person will be able to do it. Just by studying what? This one. This is for sure. Why do you think every person whom you meet who is a topper tells the same stuff? What is the same stuff they say? I studied very less number of books. I had prepared my notes, NCERT, done. NCERT and some reference books for some subjects. That's all. Yesterday I met some of the people. These two people had come. There was one more person. Who was that who came yesterday to me? Who was that person? Where's that person? That person is missing. There was one more person who came to me yesterday, right? That person is missing. I was telling the same thing. Don't try to do the advanced stuff. Don't. current affairs, don't worry about it. I am telling you not to worry about it. If you go down that road, it's very difficult for us also to bring you back. It is difficult for us also. Yes? Stick to basics. The day you reach 100% of what has been done in the class, the day you reach this point, then you study whatever you want. 100% of what has been taught in the class, all concepts. And then what do you have? NCRT. If I ask you 100 questions from NCRT, you should be able to answer at least 80. This point. And you have the reference book. For one subject, one reference book is, let's say you have one reference book. From the reference book, if I ask you 100 questions, you are able to answer 75. 70, 75, you are able to answer. Now you study anything you want. Till you reach this, I don't think anything you do really matters. Anything you do. You might be researching from WTO website, IMF website, UN website, do all you want. It's absolutely useless. Absolutely. Why is it useless? You will not be able to crack the exam. That's for sure. Without doing these things, you can't. It's easy to tell questions have come from there. Why not study from there itself? It's easy to tell. But our main problem is that there is no guarantee that the questions will come from there. What is the guarantee we have? If I study like this, my foundations are very, very clear. 25 questions are there. Even if 25 questions only come from this, I have a guaranteed 50 here. Rest 75 questions I don't know. But out of 75 questions, with the knowledge base I have, even if I guess another 50, at least probably 30 will get right. With the knowledge base. Without knowledge base, these are gone. Without knowledge base, these are not there. Why? Because you have not studied properly. These are gone. On top of it, out of 75, maybe 50 you have studied also. But then you will not get 50 right, no? Guesses will be there. And most of the guesses will go wrong. Why? Because fundamentals are not there. So stick to fundamentals. So they were asking me, ki, sir, we don't have time to study, no? Like by the time I take up NCRTs, right? I have not revised this, but NCRT ke liye time nahi mila. What to do? So my suggestion is that whenever you take up something to study, always class notes you cover. If you are not finding time for NCRT, don't worry. Don't worry about it. I am not able to find time for NCRT. I am not able to find time for reference books. Don't worry. Stay cool. 3 months, 4 months. When I say stay cool, doesn't mean, stay happy with attending the classes. I mean to say, stay cool means if you're not finding time for this, only classes and notes revision you are able to do, be happy with it. There will come a time when 3 months, 4 months later, you know everything that is in the notes, you know everything, 100% you know. Now you open the textbooks, it's like a cakewalk. You will be able to understand almost everything that is there in the NCRT, almost that is there in the textbook. Yes, us not doing this, but going to NCRT or standard book directly, what would it mean? You tell me, whatever you learn here in 3 hours, all the concepts put together, 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours you learn. If you study on your own, completely on your own, how much time would it take to study that much? Three hours, whatever you study here, whatever you learn here, the understanding you get, if you study on your own, how much time would it take? 8 hours, 10 hours, 2 days, 6 hours, 2 hours, right? So if you study on your own without any knowledge, directly open the book, will you be able to cover that much? No, it would take minimum 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours for some people, right? and selectively studying, it would take more time. Done. When you are learning this in the class, master it, no? Master this. You are actually saving time. I do understand what goes on in your head. Sir, you have taught us this much. Textbook has this much. Okay, in the same chapter, textbook has so many other things. Why study this one? Directly we'll go and study this one. But the problem with this approach is most of the things that are there in the textbook, they are interconnected to other chapters, which you would find it difficult to understand, which is unorganized. Say simply they will put in between somewhere, some word. You are studying inflation, they mention SDF. Now you don't know what SDF is. They have just given one note. SDF means this. It is in monetary policy. Now you don't know what monetary policy is. So that is why what you are supposed to do in the class, you will not miss that train of thought. Yes, if possible, cover from NCERT and reference book. 2-3 months time, you will see the difference if you are 100% thorough with the class notes. You will see the difference. If you are not thorough with the class notes, I can guarantee you that your preparation will be very, very disparate. You feel like something is unsettling within you. You will feel that. Why? Because whatever you are learning are very, very focused, refined content. Whatever is required for the examination, whatever helps you study the current affairs, whatever helps you study the standard books or the NCERTs. That's what is being taught here. Don't try to do extraordinary stuff. Do the ordinary stuff. If you try to do the extraordinary, you forget the ordinary. So basically, extra stuff you'll learn. And for UPSC also, you are an extra person. Done? Yes? So, I was just watching one interview, right? One person who does the analysis was talking about Virat Kohli. You know Virat Kohli? He's very famous, no? Huh. So, that person was doing the analysis. What he was saying is that, is Virat Kohli the most talented cricketer? Yes? No? No. He's not the most talented cricketer. You have talented cricketers who time the ball to perfection. This person is sheer hard work. And does he play all the books in the, all the shots in the book? No. Very, very few shots he plays. Does he sweep? No. He does not know sweep shot at all. He knows, but he doesn't play because he's not comfortable. What he has done is, there are few, shots he has learnt, and those shots he has perfected. And today he is called the run machine. He is one of the legends. Yes? Why? Basics. Too strong. Perfection. This is what you are supposed to. That is what I am asking you to do. Basics, very, very strong. Advanced, I am not worried. Let me look at it later on, if time permits. Done? Okay. What are you supposed to do now? Assignment. Finish it. Finish it. It helps you a great deal. Without you knowing, it will help you. Okay? Finish all the subjects. How many subjects do you have? All the subjects from GS1 to GS4. All subjects, every single word that is there, write one line. You will only understand later on how important knowing these things is. Yes? Okay. And yesterday I had asked you some questions related to WPI. Which is the base year for WPI? 22-23, is it rolled out? Did you check? What does the news say? Did you search for WPI? What is the latest base year? 22, 23 or 2011, 12? 2011, 12. It is in transition. Some places say it is rolled out already. What to believe now? What to do? Did you check properly? Did you check properly? Did you check? Okay, you weren't there. What? It is? It is approved. Now, is it rolled out? See, you don't know how to check the current affairs also. Still. Then why will you study current affairs? Getting my point? So, the present situation. From June 15th onwards, this month, they are going to change the base year. Till that point, what is the base year? 2011-12 is the base year. We have written it. So from June 15th, it is going to be rolled out. Okay, weights. Did you check the weights? Tell me. What are the weights? How much is it for, what is the first one? Manufacturing. How much is the weight? Percentage itself. 64%, let's say. Next, primary articles. 20? 22%. Point? Okay, 6%. And last? Fuel and power. How much is it? 13%. Okay. You just have to remember the descending order of it. Okay. So which has the highest weightage? Whatever change happens to this. Who releases this? What is it? Office of Economic Advisor. Which ministry?
Ministry of Commerce and Industry.
Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay. Done. What else did we discuss? Did I ask anything else from yesterday? Base years. Base years for CPI. CPI, agriculture labor. What is the base year? 2019. Rural labor? Same. Okay. Industrial workers? 2000? Are you sure? Pakka? Okay. Are they making a change? Base years for these numbers. What about the latest, as in, rural, urban and combined for them? 20? I asked you one question related to this. Why the base years are like this? Why is it like this? Earlier, what were the base years for this? These two? And this one? Okay, be it as it may, these numbers are still behind this number, correct? So why is it the base years are like that, lesser than this one? Why? On what basis do we change the base year? Did you search? Did you search as to why? Why is it? Correct answer you did not get. You should have used ChatGPT. That also did not give. Okay, it is a bureaucratic discrepancy.
It told here needs final full data, complete data.
So?
It told like that.
Okay, I'll give you one reason. Just tell me whether this reasoning, sounds good for you or not. Okay. See, the reason why we changed the base year, remember the GDP chapter? What is the reason why we changed the base year? We select a stable year. This is one stable year will take. And what is the second reason? Consumption pattern has changed. The answer should be here only. For changing or not changing, the answer should be here only. Agreed? So how will we apply this reasoning? How will we apply this reasoning to these numbers? Just look at this. Only last year they have made a change. This year or last year, this year itself, they have made a change to these numbers also. Whatever numbers you are seeing here, only this year they have made a change. Till that point, it was 1986, 2001, 2. What does this mean? It only meant this. People who are agricultural labor and rural labor in 1986, how they were using the money for their expenditures, same things continued till almost last year. This is the meaning. Their consumption patterns remained the same. Say, in 1986, a person was getting rupees 20 as wage. Out of 20, 50% he used to spend on food, 25% on many other things, another 25%, another 20% on certain other things, and 5% on PTI. Fast forward to 2000. Still, if the person was earning rupees 100, even then he was spending on these things itself in the same manner. Come to 2010, still same pattern. Then what is the point in changing the base year? The consumption pattern remains the same. Getting my point? Am I clear? When should I change the base year? When I see significant consumption pattern changes. Here, we were seeing significant consumption patterns. Why? Why do we see it here? Because in rural, apart from labor, we have other people also. In urban, apart from industrial workers, we have business people also. Consumption patterns go for a bigger change. Not the case with these people. Clear? That is why the base years were not changed. Now the base year has been changed recently. It means what? We can see a shift in consumption pattern change of agriculture labor, rural labor and industrial workers from these years. Shift has happened. Clear? Done? Understood? Is reasoning sound? Yes? This is what is required. Application of knowledge. You have to apply. Done? Okay. Next, anything else? Anything else I asked? That's all? That's all I asked? Okay.
So, what has added that we are changing the base year now? Like, what is their expenditure?
You think about it. Earlier, there used to be agriculture labor, rural labor, no? What they used to spend on mostly? They used to spend mostly on food items. They used to not spend money on health, education. Now you check, people who are agriculture labor, rural labor, they send their kids to private schools itself. Earlier, was it the case? Consumption pattern change hua na? Yes? Many things, many services, they spend the money on. Yes? That proportion itself was not there earlier. Now the proportions have changed significantly. Why did it change? Probably because of many things. One of the reasons can be, you have MG Narega. Right? Because of this, the wages have gone up. And the second thing is the PDS, public distribution system, is much more targeted now. Every person gets it. Earlier, there were too many leakages in this. Despite being agriculture labor, rural labor, despite having a ration card, Some of the people used to not get it. Now those leakages are plugged, everybody gets it. So when everybody is getting it, they have extra income in their hand. Now they can spend on other things. All these things have changed, because of which consumption patterns also have gone for a bigger change. Clear? Okay. The next concept we are going to learn is base effect. This is something which I had left out. Base effect. Remember here, base effect means not base year effect, it is base effect, what we consider as base, the effect of that. 1 kg of dal cost rupees 70 in 2018. Let's suppose this became 75 in 2019. In 2020, it became rupees 80. Normal trend? This is normal trend. Every year 5 rupees it is increasing. No problem. Everybody accepts a predictable line of inflation. This is predictable. Now in 2021 what happened? All of a sudden it became rupees 140. It became 140. And after 2021, in 2022, the price of the same 1 kilo of dal came down to rupees 100. Yes. When I sit in 2022 and check, has the inflation come down? How do I compare? What do I compare inflation to? Last year's numbers or much before that? I always compare. Remember inflation calculation? Rate of inflation is calculated how? Price index of this year minus price index of previous year divided by price index of previous year into 100. So I compare it only with last year. When I compare it like that, it looks like the prices have fallen significantly. In fact, there is no inflation, there is deflation. This is what you see. Correct? Agreed or not? So, my conclusion is that the inflation has significantly dropped. This effect is known as base effect. This effect is known as base effect. The effect of the previous year on the calculation of this year's inflation rate. Same thing holds for GDP also. Now, if I continue further, say for example, from 2022, in 2023, all of a sudden, from 100, it came down to what? 60. For some reason, it came down to 60. Again, inflation has gone down significantly, the prices have dropped. Now, in 2024, the price becomes rupees 110. What will I feel like from 60 to 110? Again, feels like the prices have increased too much. But don't you think 70, 75, 80, it should have been 85 here, 85, 90, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110. We are actually following a normal trend itself. But it feels like all of a sudden the price has increased significantly. Why? Because we are comparing only with the last year as the base. So, if this year's inflation looks too high or too low, despite being in the same trend, just because of the comparison to last year, which was having a high inflation rate or a low inflation rate, would be called as what? Base effect. Clear? Clear? Understood? Yes or no? So just because last year was an outlier, last year the price was too high or too low. The prices went up too high or too low. This year, despite the trend being normal, still it looks like the prices have significantly dropped or significantly increased. So if the prices were too high last year, went up too high last year, this year, despite being in the trend line, despite following a trend line this year, it is in the trend line itself. Normal trend only it is following. But last year it was too high. Despite being in the trend line, we feel like inflation is too low. On the other hand, last year if the prices dropped significantly, and despite being in the trend line itself, normal trends only it is following, still we feel like the inflation is too high. Why does this happen? Because last year was an outlier. Because last year was an outlier. It was not following trend. Just because last year was not following trend, this year we feel like the inflation is too high or too low. Clear? What is this known as? Base effect. This is known as base effect. Next. So, if last year was too high, this year, despite following the trend line, despite having a little inflation, still it looks low only. This is favorable base effect. Favorable base effect. Why? Because this year inflation is looking low, no? That is why it is favorable. For whom? Favorable for whom? For the government. For the government. Government can always say, hey, see, inflation I have brought down. For you, it does not matter. It is the same only. Yes? For customers, it is same. The prices have gone down, but it is in normal trend only. Whenever this happens, it is unfavorable for the government. Last year prices dipped significantly. People got accustomed to those prices. This year normal price increase happened. People are like, hey, too much increase. Understood? So that is unfavorable for the government. So this is your base effect. Next.
So what about those metro tickets that they increase the price? Does it fall under this effect?
See, what is inflation? What did we talk about inflation? Inflation is general rise in the level of prices across the board, no? Right? Whatever you are talking about is skewflation. Only in some area the prices have increased. That is skewflation. Wherever, in the last slide I wrote something here. So rupees 70 dal I have written, no? Here dal is equal to all goods and services. Okay, I took the example of dal because it's easier. When I say dal, it means all goods and services. A basket, a big basket. Okay, now coming to the other parts, it is not related to inflation. These are things which are related to industry. IIP, Index of Industrial Production. This is not related to inflation. But the calculation is point to point, just like we calculated inflation point to point. What is point to point calculation? I am going to compare last year's same month with this year's corresponding month. Yes? Same way, IIP is also what? Point to point calculation. At the same time, it also says is index of industrial production. We were calculating what? Price index there. What will we see here? What will we have here? We have a production index here. In price index, what did we do? We took a basket of goods. We calculated the prices. What is the price of this basket? What do we do here? We select a basket of goods, basket of items. We'll list a set of items and we'll see how many have been produced, each of these items. This is about quantity, not the price. This is about quantity. This is not the price. Clear? That was what? That was the price of the product. Here what are we focused on? Quantity. How much quantity is being produced? Production index, that is why. So in that basket, what did we have? We had some certain items, let's say for CPI. In this basket, we had put 6 categories of items, correct? Here also, we'll have a basket, and here also we'll put some 1000 items, let's say. Instead of calculating the price for them, here we were calculating price. Instead of price, for each of these 1000 items in the market, in the industries, how many items are being produced? A product, how many was produced? B product, how many were produced? Quantity. The focus is on quantity here. There it was price. Clear? Okay. Calculation is same way. Production index for a particular year, production index for another year, production index of this year minus production index for the previous year divided by production index of previous year into 100. Same calculation. Done? Okay.
And these are the common, typical consumer goods that
We'll come there. We'll come there. What are all the items that we track? Yes. So what is it? IIP is a short-term indicator. It is a short-term indicator of changes in the volume of production, changes in the volume of production in the industries. The total volume of production, usually we get it from annual survey of industries and GDP. From GDP also we can get this number. These values we can get. How much production is happening in the country, we can get from GDP numbers. We can also get it from annual survey of industries. We'll see what it is. But both of them are annual. Short term we don't get it. To get the short term numbers, we use the IIP. In short term, how much production is last month, how much production happened, right? We cannot get it from this one. That is why we go with IIP. So for most important items, we keep tracking. So same we did for what? We did for inflation calculation also. Inflation, the best number we get from GDP deflator, but we have to wait 1 year. Short term ke liye we calculate what? CPI, WPI. Same way here also. After a year we will get how much production is happening. But the thing is, every month we have to keep checking. For that we have what number? IIP, Index of Industrial Production. Now this is an annual exercise. This is short term. We get to know the volume. Say, for base year, what will be the production index? How much will the production index be? 100. No matter what you do, it is going to be 100. For base year, price index will be 100. Now, let's say for a particular year, if production index is 120, I compare it with the base year. So base year, let's say it is 2023, 24, 23, let's say, and this is 24, this year. When I compare, how much will I get? 120 minus 100 divided by 100 into 100, correct? How much do I get? 20. What does this number mean? The production is 20% more compared to the last year. That's all. Very simple. Understood? This is how we calculate, just like we did for price index. Same, exact same. Now this is also point to point. When I say point to point, what does it mean? I can compare last year Jan month with this year Jan month. We get the production index just like this. Done? Okay. Who releases this number? IIP. NSO. So it is released every month. These numbers are released every month, monthly. They are released. Is IIP season neutral? Was your CPI, WPI season neutral or not? What is season neutral? Change in seasons does not affect those numbers. Is it true? That is why, just like your CPI, WPI, this is also season neutral. The word is season neutral. Both are season neutral. Because we are comparing month to month. Effective from June 1st, 2026, this month. The base year is 22-23. Base year is 22-23 from June 1st. There are 1042 products in the basket. 1042. 463 item groups. So 1000 plus items in the basket. 460 plus categories. So 1000 items grouped into 460 categories. Okay, 460 groups. The earlier series, which was 2011-12 series. The earlier series was 2011-12. Basically, the earlier base year was 11-12. In that, there were 865 items. $120 new items have been added. 120 new item groups have been added. 120 new groups have been added, and around 64 have been removed. 120 new item groups have been added, 60 have been removed. Why you have so many groups now? So 460 plus groups now. Earlier there were 400 plus, means 405, 6 groups you had. Now you have 460 plus groups. We have so many groups because according to the National Industrial Classification 2025, there are these many groups of industries. So the groups we have today are aligned with National Industrial Classification 2025, NIC 2025. It is aligned with that. That is why we have these many groups now. Okay. In IIP, there are 6 use-based categories. 6 use-based categories. All the items, 1000 plus items you have. Yes. And how many how many groups you have? 460 plus groups of industries you have. All of them we can put it under broad 6 categories. What are the 6 categories? These categories had been the same in the old series as well. Within the categories, we have changed the groups. Within the categories, new items have been added. Okay. What are these 6 use-based groups or categories? 1. Primary goods. 2. Capital goods. Primary goods, capital goods. Infrastructure and construction. Infrastructure and construction goods. Intermediate goods. Intermediate goods. Consumer durables. Consumer non-durables. Consumer non-durable goods. Okay. So these are the use-based categories. If I put all these use-based categories into sectors, if I make these categories into sectors, broad sectors again, what sectors are there? What are all the sectors we can have? One is manufacturing sector. Manufacturing sector. 2. Mining and quarrying. Mining and quarrying. Mining and quarrying. 3. Electricity and gas. Electricity and gas. Broadly, these were the 3 sectors which the IIP used to talk about. Okay. Only this year, a new sector has been added. This is the new one. A new 4th sector. Water supply. Water supply. Sewerage. Sewerage and waste. Water supply, sewerage and waste. This also is a sector this year. Okay. So basically, we have to visualize IIP like this. There are 1000 plus items. These 1000 plus items are put into how many groups? 460 groups. 460 plus groups. And these 460 plus groups are in how many categories? Broadly 6 categories. And these 6 categories of items are usually from how many sectors? Earlier there were 3 sectors, now there are 4 sectors. The same 1000 items. The same 1000 items are in groups, the same items are in sectors, the same items are in categories as well. That's all. Clear? The highest weight in this, highest weight, that is where are most of the items? This is 1000 items if I am looking at, and production happens maximum, which one? Which one? Manufacturing. It is at 76%. 76% of the weight goes here. Done. Descending order, you remember? Manufacturing highest, second mining and quarrying, third electricity, and fourth water supply. Numbers you can check. You go and check the numbers. How much weightage? Most of the items come from where? Manufacturing itself. That has the highest weight. 76% of the items come from there itself. Clear? Earlier it was a bit on the higher side itself. So it has reduced a bit. Why? Because we have added one more category, no? That is why slightly reduced. Okay, next.
Just one question. So when we talk about electricity and gas and water supply is origin based, are we specifically talking about these things only in the production, the context of production, or as well as domestic consumption?
See, production and supply, no? That is why it is supply.
Okay.
Waste, production and management,
Okay.
right? Sewerage management, again. Service, right? How many connections, how many, cleaning, how much cleaning is happening.
Yeah.
So that is taken into consideration here.
So this will of course include also sewage and waste from domestic consumption.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That will be included here.
But how it's processed?
Yes, it is about the processing part.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, this much is done for IIP. One special thing about IIP, or we can say the major part of IIP, is core industries. So in IIP, we have 1000+ items, right? 1000+ items are there, we track them. Out of them, there are 8 industries which are very, very important. We call them as 8 core industries. How many are there? 8. 8 core industries. Only these 8 industries contribute to around 40+% of your IIP. Only from these 8 industries, 40% of items produced where in your IIP come from these 8 industries only. These are called the core industries. Okay. What are these 8 industries? So we'll go by descending order. So you can create an acronym accordingly. Okay. Refinery products, electricity, steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, cement and fertilizers. These are the ones, core industries. And how much do they contribute to the production? In IIP, 40% comes from this only.
So this is like a commodity index.
Yes. Now, for this only for the 8, see, NSO was doing what? It is going to select all those 1000 items. From these industries it is coming, it is going to check this much production is happening. That is what it was taking. Price, no, it is not tracking price. It is only checking how many, how many bags of cement, right? So how many trucks of waste went in, how much need, it was converted into what? Converted into some usable material, how many units of electricity was produced, how many tons of steel was, this is what it was tracking. Now these core industries, only how much production is happening, only this one. Because there are 1000 plus items, you have to make selection. Okay, only these are there, this falls into this category, this falls into this category, we have to select. Who does this work? Only for 8 industries. Who is going to publish the number? This is known as the index of core industries, which is derived from where? IIP itself. IIP gives all the numbers, from that selection is done, and they come up with the core industries index. Who gives this number? NSO should only give it, correct? But this number is given by Office of Economic Advisor again. The core industries index is provided by Office of Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Done? Clear? So these are the nuances, no? These are the nuances. UPSC does not ask you a question on, who releases CPI. He is going to ask CPI AL who releases. Who releases CPI AL? Who releases CPI AL? Labor Bureau. Correct? Labor Bureau, Ministry of Labor.
So, in these indexes, do they ensure that double counting is avoided?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
They do avoid. Okay. So you are talking about intermediate products,
Yeah,
right?
crude oil turns into
Yes. That is avoided. That is avoided. Okay. Next, annual survey of industries. ASI. This is in no way related to inflation. Remember, whatever we are learning now, it's not related to inflation. We are learning because the calculation method was the same. Now, ASI is in no way related to calculation of indices. I am talking about ASI because we learnt about IIP. Understood? Okay. Annual survey of industries. Again, this survey is done by NSO. As the name suggests, it is a national annual survey. So NSO does it and publishes ASI. It gets this power to do the survey because of an act called Collection of Statistics Act. Collection of Statistics Act of 1959. Collection of Statistics Act 1959. In this, it gets the power, through this it gets the power to collect the information. From where does it collect the data? From all registered firms in India. From all registered firms in India. Registered units. Registered under what act? Under the Factories Act. Registered under 1959. Okay. All factories.
would not account for any like informal production.
No, it's not counted. And next, what is excluded? Clearly excluded from the survey? Or defense factories? Defense factories? Oil and gas storage units? Restaurants, hotels, cafes? Restaurants, hotels, cafes? Computer services? Okay. And departmental units. Departmental units like railway workshops and all, because the production is not happening per se. Defense, they don't give the information, it is not counted in this. Why? Because it becomes what? A national security issue. That is why. Done. Restaurants, hotels, cafes, computer services, departmental units. Okay. Restaurants and cafes, what do? You are not producing something newly, right?
You could say it as a value added to it.
It is a value addition,
Okay, so
but it is a service. Okay. Fine. The entire calculation is based on books, accounts, completely accounted. Only what is there in the books, only that is counted. Okay, so accounts, documents, books maintained by the firms as to how much production has, only on that. It is more accurate than IIP. Why? Because it is more accurate than IIP. Why? Because it depends on, IIP is on sample estimates.
This is like a census.
Yes. IIP is based on sample estimate only. Sample. Sample estimate as in, it is going to select only few firms and how much production is happening. Probably other firms also doing the same thing. I can extrapolate the data. That is not the case with them. Yes. Next. Purchasing Managers Index. The next one. So this is ASI. Only registered firms, how much production is happening annually, not monthly. Next is PMI, Purchasing Managers Index. This is a different concept altogether.
Purchasing?
Managers Index. Manager. PMI. See, IIP, why do we need it? We get to know how much production is happening on a monthly basis, whether it is increasing or decreasing. So, don't you think if IIP's number is showing better, it is growing better, GDP will also grow? Yes, it's an indicator. So, if industrial production is good, GDP also will be growing. Correct. If core industries are doing good, it means IIP will do good. So, it's like this. If core industries index is good, it means IIP becomes good. If IIP is good, obviously GDP also becomes good. More or less, these are like indicators for us. Now, on the other hand, what is PMI? Purchasing Managers Index. What does this show? Next month, next to next month, will these numbers go up or not? How to know? See, this month something has happened that we are calculating. Next month, will it improve or not?
Based on how much goods have been purchased.
This number is not actually based on production. It is completely based on the mood. It is based on the mood. Mood of whom? Mood of the people who are in the industry. So what is this purchasing managers index? It's all about, crudely put, in crude terms if I put it, it's like this. I will go to the firms, right? I'll go to the firms. There, who are the people who are responsible for production? There will be some executives. Yes. Basically, workers are there. And I am going to select randomly these people and I am going to ask them, what do you think? How is your firm doing this month? What do you think? Next month, will you get more orders or what?
This will be sentiment index.
Yes, this is more about a sentiment. How they answer? They have fixed number of questions. I am going to go asking industry after industry. Clear? Based on the responses, I'll have scores. And on the basis of the score, I get to understand, okay, if the score crosses 50 plus, means it's a positive thing. Positive things in the sense, next month we can expect the production to be better than last month. If it is less than 50, means compared to last month, it will go down only.
So what's the figure like right now in India?
All the time, almost every month, you are going to see this is 50 plus itself. Almost all the time. Why? Because you see the industrial production becoming better every month. The only question is whether this number is 56 or 58 or it reaches 60, right? It never crosses 65, 70 and all, but 56, 57, 58, if the number is showing, it means we are in good stead only. If it falls to 53, 51, then we might feel like, okay, what we are doing is not good enough. The industry is slowing down. We can expect these numbers to go down next month. So 55 above is good enough, right? It's not accurate. But the mood of the employees is what reflects there. Next month, this is what we can expect. Clear? What is this known as? Purchasing Managers Index. This is not released by the government, remember. This is not released by the government. Who releases it? This is done by, some people, or rather than some people. There's a particular institution which does it. This is the firm which does this. IHS Market India. Now it has been taken over by Standard & Poor Global India. This has taken over the firm. Standard & Poor Global India. This is the one which is coming up with the PMI number now. The PMI number comes for two separate things: manufacturing PMI, services PMI. Manufacturing and services PMI. Okay. So what is done in this? 500 firms are selected here. 500 firms are selected here. No PSUs. What is no PSUs? No government companies. Only private companies. Private 500 manufacturing companies. Private 500 service companies. You go and you ask standard questions. To whom? To executives. Questions related to many things, related to output. What do you think next month there will be more people who will be employed in your firm? Job opportunities, how are they? Sir, maybe next month they are going to hire some new people. What is that? What does that signal? Good sentiment. So they are not going to ask you for subjective answers. They are going to give you a question like this: what are the chances of your firm hiring 50 people next month? 1.50. You answer it. Right? 1.50. For every equation you have to rate like this. On the basis of how you have rated, you are going to get a score. For the entire industry, 500 companies put together, you get a score. If the score is above 50, what does it mean? It is a positive sentiment. If the score is less than 50, negative sentiment. That's all. Clear? Okay. So what are the parameters they use? What are the questions on? Questions are on new orders. How many new orders are you going to get? What are the chances that you are going to get new orders next month? 1.5. 0.5 means maybe, maybe not. 1 guaranteed. 0 no chance. Yes? Output, based on output. Employment. Employment. Delivery time. Inventory, etc., etc. Okay. So the release timing, every year, every month, first of every month it is released. What about your IIP? IIP comes mid-month, almost mid-month. Usually 12th of every month, which is last month's number comes this month, no? Okay. Next. Inflation targeting. Our last topic of inflation. Everything that you have learned so far from IIP till this point is not related to inflation chapter. We brought this topic just because IIP is calculated the same way as CPI. Just because of that we brought in. Otherwise, the entire thing that you have learned from IIP till this point is related to which chapter? Industries chapter. Clear? Okay. Now what do we need to do next? Inflation targeting. What is this? Inflation targeting. In 2016, the government of India and RBI signed an agreement which is known as Monetary Policy Framework Agreement. So MPFA, Monetary Policy Framework Agreement, MPFA. This agreement was signed between the government of India and the RBI. In order to facilitate this understanding, see, RBI is an autonomous body. Though it is a government body, it is an autonomous body. So, government can tell RBI, you have to do this, you must do this. It can only tell if the law allows. What law? Okay. RBI Act of 1934. Yes. Only if this law allows, provisions of this law allows, then only government can say, hey, according to this law, you have to listen to me. Otherwise, in public interest, yes. Normal day-to-day functioning, regular functioning, government cannot say you have to do this. It cannot set targets, not allowed. But this particular act was amended so that government and RBI can sit together and decide certain things. Now provision is made and the agreement was signed. The agreement signed is Monetary Policy Framework Agreement.
Is this what led to the feud with Raghuram Rajan?
One of the things we can say. So many things were happening related to Raghuram Rajan's exit, and another person, Urjit Patel, came in, right? He also exited, right? So many things were happening. So it was like a tussle. A lot of things. You know, the points of contention, the bone of contention was not one. Too many actually. Now, after they signed this agreement, why did they sign this agreement? The problem was this. Key, RBI is like, my work is to do what? What is my work as RBI? Printing currency according to the need. 2, making sure inflation is under control. Money supply is proper in the system. This is what my work is. And that is what is mandated where? Here. Correct? So, price stability. Which means inflation does not go too high or too low. Price stability is one work. What is the second work? Second work is about money supply. So, controlling the money supply, I can control the price stability as well. This is my primary objective. This was the primary objective as well. Now, with the amendment, what happened? You cannot always say only this is my work. You have to take into consideration one more thing. Government is like, see, if you keep doing this, prices go up a bit. RBI is like, now is the time to increase the interest rate. I will increase the interest rate. The moment I increase the interest, what would happen? Prices went up. RBI increased the repo rate. Correct? When RBI increases the repo rate, banks will increase the interest rate or not? Bank interest rate will increase. When banks increase the interest rate, people will take more loans or less loans? If loans are lesser, investment will be more or investment will be less? If investment is lesser, what? GDP more or GDP less? Loans lesser, demand lesser, GDP lesser. Correct?
So it is not favorable for the government.
Yes, it is not favorable for the government. Government wants, for some time at least, let the prices be on the higher side, man.
This is also the feud that was happening in the US between
Absolutely.
Bush.
Absolutely. Their Federal Reserve is out of control, completely out of control. Federal Reserve, hey, I don't care. You say whatever you want. My work is this. I'll do this. So this happened. So this is what happens with what? The prices slightly going up. Automatically RBI used to come into action. So when GDP goes down, employment more or employment less? Employment opportunities lesser, which means unemployment will rise or reduce. Growth suffers, unemployment rises.
But it also depends on how bad the inflation is. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Now, RBI is mostly very cautious. Whenever you see some technical organization, technical institution which is there, it is always going to be very, very what? Cautious. It does not go with popular sentiment. It goes with technical details. Government, does it go with technical details or popular sentiment? Popular sentiment. Yes. So now the government said, see, they go, just because you want to control inflation, we can't suffer this way. Right? Your objective is not just price stability. Your objective is, of course, price stability. Along with that, you have to keep in mind what? Not just price stability. Your objective is also to keep in mind the growth and employment. You have to keep in mind the growth and employment as well. Right? Whatever measures you take from the monetary policy side, you can't just say my work is to control what? Inflation. Your work is also to keep in mind growth and stability, growth along with employment, and then look at the stability number of your inflation. So for that, I have to pitch in. I have to have a say. How will I have a say? How will the government have a say? Now we'll do something. We'll have an agreement. What is the agreement? The Monetary Policy Framework Agreement. Now, such system, right? Such system, we have it in USA, UK, EU, New Zealand, Japan, Canada, Australia. All of these places have inflation targeting. Earlier, RBI used to say next month or next 2 months, this is the target I have. Now, we have come up with FIT, flexible inflation targeting. And this flexible inflation targeting is usually practiced in advanced economies. Flexible inflation targeting. Not a fixed number, not a rigid number we are going to target. We are going to have a band. We will try to keep the inflation between these numbers. What is that number? 4 plus or minus 2 of what? CPI All India. So rather than writing CPI All India, always write CPI combined, okay? There is CPI All India. What? A political party as well, right? Communist Party of India. So instead of that, CPIC is better. Okay. Who sets this target? This target is set by the Government of India in consultation with RBI. Both of them sit together and they have set this target. Every 5 years once, they are going to review it as well. According to this agreement, we both will sit together and really, decide this band. Okay. Every 5 years once, we'll sit down, we'll check. If we want to make a change to this flexible target, we'll make a change. 2016 they did, 2021 no change, again 26 no change. It's the same. 4 plus or minus 2 itself is there. Now, in order to make sure that this is within the range, what is within the range? The inflation is within the range. See, agreement has happened. But to ensure this is within the range, the agreement also made way for the creation of a body called MPC. Monetary Policy Committee was created so that the target is within range, that range of 2 to 6, that is maintained. The MPC has 6 members. It has 6 members. 3 from RBI. 3 from Government of India nominates them. Right? Out of these 3, one is the governor of RBI and 2 more deputy governors. 2 deputy governors, 1 governor, RBI governor. So 3 from Government of India means they are external members, right? They are external members. According to the agreement, according to the amendment made, the Monetary Policy Committee must meet at least mandatory 4 times in a year to review the situation, how the prices are, how the growth is, everything. However, the usual practice of the RBI has been, instead of 4 times per year, we will meet 6 times per year. चाय पे चर्चा और ज़्यादा हो जाता है. So 6 times per year, which means bi-monthly. Bi-monthly. Every 2 months once they are meeting. Done. So what will they do in this meeting? They'll review the inflation situation, whether the inflation is within the range or it is becoming something which is unmanageable. Should we do what? Should we change the policy rate? Should we make changes to SLR, CRR? Remember? This is what is decided in those meetings. Should I keep it at the same level? Should I increase a bit? Should I reduce a bit? These decisions are made. Now, how will they make the decision when there are 6 people? Obviously, RBI side people will say, we'll do one thing, we'll increase the interest rate. Why? Because inflation is almost 5.5%. These 3 people will be like, from government side, hey, let it increase, we want growth also. Now it is a tie. What happens in a tie? Both are equal. So what will we do now?
Who's the tiebreaker?
There has to be a tiebreaker. Who will come? Prime Minister. Prime Minister will come in between? No. So this is a very trivial issue for the Prime Minister, right? So not so trivial, but for the Prime Minister it is trivial. Now, the RBI governor has been given what? That power to break the tie. He has an extra vote only when there is a tie. This is called the casting vote. It is a tiebreaker. You might think, sir, casting vote, we all cast a vote. That is casting a vote. This is a casting vote. There's a difference. Casting a vote means everybody is voting. A casting vote is what? A power. If I put A here, what does it mean? It is a normal vote. If I remove this, it's a casting vote. Means it's a power. It's a tiebreaker. Understood? Clear? Likewise, you also...
So by default, the RBI does have little more power.
By default, the RBI has a little more power. Of course, it should be this way.
And this amendment was made by passing like an act in a...
Yes, absolutely. Amendment was made to which act? RBI Act 1934. It was amended. Now, same power, a casting vote power, is also there with someone else. Anybody who has prepared for this examination previously? No one? Who has studied polity? Polity who has studied a bit? Anyone? No one? Online people, anybody studied polity before? Constitution who has studied? Nobody has studied constitution. You have studied. Tell me, who has casting vote? You don't recall. So usually the speaker has it. Casting vote. When there is an absolute tie on certain matters, he has a casting vote. What is casting vote? A tiebreaker. That's it. Till that point, he does not have the power to vote.
So that's in the Lok Sabha.
In the Lok Sabha, you have a bill that was supposed to be passed, exact equal split. Usually government will win. Whichever political party has formed the government, that will win. But sometimes on some issues, there might be exact division. In such a case, who will come to vote? Speaker. Till that point, can he vote? No. He can't vote. Only in case of a tie, he votes. On the other hand, here, governor votes in the first instance. Again, if there is a tie, again he gets to vote. That's your casting vote. Clear? It's a power. Done. Okay, next.
So, curiosity. So when of course the government presented this bill in the parliament, and they got it passed. So why would they give themselves an unfavorable situation that they have less power?
Who has less power?
The government.
So by giving the vote to?
They are giving an extra vote.
To whom? To RBI. So the reason is, it's just this. RBI is the one which is more or less the technical one, right? From the government side, whosoever is coming, they are also the experts who have been nominated to the MPC. More often than not, if you have three people here, one RBI governor, the other deputy governors, usually the expectation is that the deputy governors may take a side opposite to the governor as well. And it has happened before also. But the problem earlier was that there was no such committee. RBI governor used to take the inputs from everyone, right? From deputy governors, he used to take the inputs, from various departments in the RBI, he used to take the inputs. And finally, though everybody is saying something against what he is thinking, he would disregard and he used to present what his view is. The final decision, always was with whom? The governor. The deputy governors used to come out and tell what? No, actually this time, we should not have cut the rate, or we should not have increased the rate. They have showed reservations. Now with this system, what happens? While RBI is maintaining its power, autonomy, at the same time, it gives opportunities for other sides also to present themselves. Now say for example, one deputy governor and three people from the government of India, all four are on the same side. They are in a minority.
So in the government of India side, would you have, for example, ministers, or would you have someone?
No, not ministers. These are usually the experts, right? Economists, usually the economists.
So like IAS.
Yes, not IAS.
Okay.
So these are independent economists who are professors maybe.
Okay, so they're like.
They are outside. Yes, they are outside. They are all outside. Okay, that is why we say external. Okay, fine. The next thing is, let's say the target is what? 4 plus or minus 2. Correct. Sir, what is it like by chance? By chance, 1 month or 2 months, it became 6.5% inflation. Do we say RBI has failed? Do we say MPC has failed? 1 or 2 times 6.5% it happened. One time it came down to, let's say, 1.5%. Do we say RBI or the MPC has failed? No. For this, when do we say the MPC has failed? The failure. We say it has failed if inflation exceeds 6% or falls below 2% for three consecutive quarters, that is 9 months continuously, if it is outside the range of 2 to 6%, 9 months continuously, then we say MPC has failed. Okay. So failure has happened. That is above 6% for 9 months continuously, below 2% for 9 months continuously. Now we say there's a failure. When there is a failure, there has to be punishment. What is a punishment? What is the consequence if it fails? The consequence is, what is the consequence? You guess. What can the consequence be?
Dismissal.
Dismissal? Replace them? Say for example, oil prices are rising too much, supply shock. Can these 6 people, go to Assam, dig and bring out oil and supply? It's not in our control. That is why the consequence also cannot be like that. You can't fire them. So, consequence is submit a report to the government. A clear report to the government. About what? Causes as to why you are not able to control. Remedial measures which is going to be taken, and clearly mention the duration or the time required to return to the target. Time required to return to the target. You have to submit a report to the government, written report to the government of India.
And who within the government in your
Finance Ministry.
Finance Ministry.
Finance Ministry and the PMO. They are going to vet it. Now, this time if you breach again, obviously, someone's tenure is going to be cut short. They are going to say, Tata bye bye, your services are sufficient for us, you can go.
So how long is this committee and all like the same people?
So it depends, no? It depends on their retirement time also, right? So there is a tenure, there is a age limit, right? So this RBI governors and deputy governors tenure and everything you will be learning in which chapter? The monetary policy chapter. Whenever you learn about RBI in detail, you have to learn about RBI in detail. You will be learning there. So this much is done. ये सब हुआ अभी. The only breach that has happened so far, for 9 consecutive months, the RBI was not able to control it, was between August 2022 to almost 10 months. Okay, August to 10 months means next year almost. The first breach started happening from there. And whatever breach you saw, after that, RBI had to file a report. It filed a report. It is a first breach in 8 years, right? So first breach in 8 years, 2016 to 22, right? So 22, 23, if you calculate, it is almost 7-8 years. After that, we have not breached. Now there is a fear of breaching again. Now there is a fear of breaching again. Why? Because of the oil shock. Fine.
So back then in 2022, was it because of the
COVID, supply shock, right? COVID, supply shock. At the same time, Russia-Ukraine war. Many things were happening. Basically, yes, basically whenever it breaches 6% mark, no, usually it's because of international factors only. Usually it is not the domestic factors. It is usually the international factors. Done. Fine. That's the end of it. Your inflation chapter is done. My last work is related to business cycle. Okay, business cycle. One diagram to understand the entire business cycle. A single diagram. A single cycle. Everything. All put together. So it's a chapter, but we will finish it in one diagram. You may have to recall almost everything that you have learned so far while we go through this. We'll start with a high or we'll start with a low? High or a low? Any which ways we have to come back again.
Let's start with low.
We'll start with the low because it is easier to understand as well. So you might have heard about this as well. So we'll go with slowdown. From slowdown comes the recession, or rather, let's make it like this. From slowdown, you have a stagnation. From stagnation, somebody had asked me about reflation. Who was that? In the previous class, somebody asked me about reflation. We are going to have that now. Stagnation, recession, depression, recovery, boom, overheating, done. Okay. Here also it is there. Which is the shortest cycle here? Recovery, boom, overheating, slowdown, recovery. This is the shortest. This is a longer. This is a much longer one. The biggest one. What is a good government? What is a bad government? What is a worse government? Good, bad, and ugly.
The best one is the smallest.
The best one will be the smallest one. As in, the government, the moment it sees slowdown is happening, it takes measures and it will go on the path of recovery. If it is a bad government, it will wait for stagnation and recession, only then take measures. The worst government is going to let it go for depression and then take recovery measures. Clear? So we know the good, bad, ugly now. Now, what is slowdown, what is stagnation, what is recession, depression, recovery, boom, overheating. For all of this, we'll have to look at first the parameters. What will happen to each of the parameters at each of the stages? So instead of studying each stage separately, first we will decide the parameters and then assign parameters to each of them as to what happens in this parameter. That is better. First and the foremost thing, what will happen to GDP? What will happen to GDP growth rate? You have to write it. GDP growth rate. Next, employment, unemployment, next, inflation, the price levels, what will happen to the inflation, and then innovation, yes, and then startups, investment, what will happen to all of these things in each of the stages. This is what we are supposed to look at. Clear? Do you believe this? Are you always happy in your life? No. Yes? Not always happy. Are you always sad in your life? No. Are you always not happy, not sad in your life? Not happy, not sad. That is also difficult, no? But our aim should be to be in that state. What state? Not too happy, not too sad, stability. This is what we need. But that is very difficult to achieve. Being on one side of the fence, either left or right, is easy. To be on the fence is difficult. Yes or no? Being on the left side, fine. Right side, fine. On the fence, you need a balance. Writing an answer which is lopsided is very easy. Writing an answer which is balanced is much more difficult. That's a skill. People who walk on the rope, it's a skill. Answer writing is a skill. Yes? So we'll come to this. You said that, sir, we can't be like this. We always have phases like this. Correct? When you have phases like this, don't you expect the country also has phases like this? The economy also has phases like this. Exactly. Why? Because at the end of the day, whatever government you have, whatever institutions you have, whatever it is there in your country is made up of you people only. Based on your mood, you're too happy. You decided today, whatever money I have in my account, I'll buy. Did the government know that you will buy today? Just like that, people started buying. Demand increased all of a sudden. Prices went up. Now, you will hold government, hey, why are the prices rising? It was your mistake only. Ups and downs, normal. The aim, the work of the government is to somehow maintain the stability of prices somewhere in between. So, whenever there are ups, we have this part. Whenever there are downs, it can be any of these parts. And what will happen to each of them? In a slowdown, the growth will be there. What is growth? GDP growth will be there. What is GDP growth will be there means last year the GDP was 1000. Last to last year it was 900, then it became 1000. This year it has become how much? Maybe 1070. Has it increased?
Yes.
GDP growth is there. But from 900 to 1000 it became. What is the growth rate? More than 10%. From 1000 to 1070. Is it more than 10% or is it only 7%? Here it is more than 10%, it is 7%. What is happening to the growth rate? The growth rate is reducing. Growth is there, but growth rate is reducing. So we see the GDP growth here, but the rate of growth starts to fall. Clear? Yes? What will happen to the employment and unemployment?
Is still
Are employment opportunities still being created?
yes.
Yes, new employment is being generated, but unemployment is what? Is increasing or decreasing? Employment is being generated, but not sufficient. Why is it not sufficient? Every year 10% GDP was being created, 10% increase was there in the GDP. Now it is reducing, which means the number of job opportunities are being created but lesser in number, which means slightly unemployment will start to increase. Slightly it will start increasing. New job opportunities are there, but still not sufficient. Are new jobs being created in India right now? Yes or no? Yes. But are the unemployment numbers still increasing? Yes. Very simple. Now come to inflation. Inflation. Will there be inflation? GDP is growing, means inflation also will be there. However, the rate of inflation will be coming down. What is this known as? Inflation is there, but rate of inflation is coming down, which means we see a stage of disinflation here. Very good. See, you are just catching up with everything. Okay, inflation is done. Innovation, startups, investment. If GDP is not doing well, people will be ready to invest. No, no new investments. Already existing investments, they start to pull out. Investments will be lesser. Innovation, startups, they are not in the mood. Correct? This is your slowdown period. Things are not bad, but likewise things are not great as well. When you let this continue, what will happen? The growth, I said here 900 to 1000, 1000 to 1070. Now next year, if it remains at 1070, what does it mean? Stagnation. The growth rate is 0%, near 0%. When the growth rate is near 0%, is GDP growth there? No, no GDP growth. GDP number itself has not changed. And because of this, employment, new employment is generated. No new employment. Unemployment levels shoot up. Inflation? Inflation? Is there inflation or no? There might be a situation where there is inflation is nil or very low inflation, or you might be seeing a trend of deflation. the prices are actually falling. This is what you can observe. Deflationary trend. And now when we come to recession, so after 0%, what is there? Negative. What was 1070 now will become what? 1000 maybe, which means growth rate is negative. Is the GDP expanding or contracting? GDP rather than growing contracts. Percentage of GDP goes into negative. Employment opportunities, of course, there are no opportunities, people start losing jobs, which renders unemployment levels to be much, much higher. Correct? Agreed? Agreed? What next? Inflation, what will happen to inflation? Will there be inflation? Clearly, we are going to be in the deflation. Clearly, we'll be in deflation. Demand is high or low? With all these stages, demand is low only. Demand is reducing day by day. Aggregate demand is falling. Aggregate demand, overall demand itself is low. And the worst part is depression. Now, when is it recession? When is it depression? When we continue in this negative territory, see, zero is there, stagnation happens. After stagnation, we'll go into negative territory. 1 month we are in negative GDP. GDP growth rate is negative. Do we say we are in recession? Ha. 2 consecutive quarters. 2 quarters consecutively. If you are in negative territory, then what do we say? We have entered recession, which means 6 months continuously if we are in negative growth rate. GDP is in negative growth rate. Then we have what? Recession. 4 quarters consecutively. What is 4 quarters? 1 complete year. Negative itself. GDP growth rate is negative itself. Then what is it? Depression. Clear? Yes? So, when you look at this, things are only becoming worse. Here what will happen? In this stage, same. GDP is contracting further. Negative becomes much more negative. Then losing jobs. It is not losing jobs. There are no jobs. Yes, production facilities stop because nobody is demanding. So what will we produce? Right? Very low prices are there. Still people are not interested to buy because they don't have jobs. They can't afford it. The company reduces the prices. Still I don't have money. That situation.
Hypothetically, it's possible to not recover from a depression at all, right?
So it is possible. We have had the case of what? 1929, the Great Depression. 1929, the Great Depression. Where? In USA. It was able to recover. 1934 onwards, it started its recovery path. Within few years, it was able to recover. What was done? What is the recovery path? So before we go to the recovery path, we'll see what recovery is. How will recovery look like? Whenever recovery happens, GDP growth rate starts to pick up. Basically, it was contracting. Now it will expand. GDP expands. Growth rate comes into positive growth rate percentage. Inflation starts to pick up. Prices start to rise. New employment opportunities. And then this is the time when you have innovations and new investments. This is the time. Recovery time is when most of the innovations would happen and new investments are coming. Now when I go to boom, the economy is booming, means growth rate is high, okay, and economy is expanding at a much faster pace, everything good, jobs are many jobs are there, unemployment rates go down, all good. But what will we see? The inflation is also on the higher side, high investment is coming, unemployment is dropping. This is how it is. Clear? Things are good in boom. But when you are in boom, the next step is what? Overheating. What will happen in overheating? Everybody has job. When everybody has job, demand increases significantly. When demand is increasing significantly, what will happen? Aggregate demand is increasing significantly. GDP has expanded already. GDP growth rate is also high. Inflation rate will be very high. Now you might expect the inflation to be what? In the range of 8%, 7.5%, 8%, 9% it will come. Now, overheating has happened. Now again we'll go to slowdown. Now the thing is, sir, why are we going from this to this? Can we not be here only or here only? Boom is there, good phase will be there only. Say for example, you are getting 50,000 salary, okay? You are buying certain things, right? What were you buying? Every month, every day you used to eat certain things. You used to save 5,000 every month. All of a sudden your salary became 80,000. Will you do the same things? What will you do? Now we will decide, we'll roam. Simply, no reason. You are not hungry, still I will eat. So one thing, we keep observing, right? There is no a time of the day. So some days, I'll leave the office early. Some days due to some, work, I go out. Be it morning 8, be it 11 o'clock in the morning, be it maybe 2 o'clock, be it 4 o'clock, be it 6 o'clock, be it 10, be it 12 at night, be it 1 o'clock at night, people keep eating. Maybe it's not the same people, but people are eating. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. What I'm just trying to say is that if people did not have money, limited amount of money, don't you think people would have eaten only 3 meals or 2.5 meals and just stayed quiet? This is happening because people have money. Extra money. What do you have for food? Some carb, some protein, some fiber, right? So, and then what else do you need? Something you are going to have, all home cooked. Everything is done for the day, your meal is done, balanced diet is done. Still, at home you have tea leaves, everything you have. Still, I have to go out, I want to eat idli, I want to eat dosa. Evening, I want to eat pani puri, I want to eat dahi puri, special, right? So all these things we want to do. Why are you doing this? Because of GDP doing good. Understood? Now, demand increases. Because of demand increasing, we will reach these places anyways. Now, sir, can we not maintain it at boom phase itself or recovery phase itself or somewhere in between? Can we not maintain? If you all decide, sir, we will do only these things every day, no matter how much the income, then we will maintain that phase. But that is not possible. We are humans. So,
That's kind of what RBI tries to do.
RBI keeps trying to do the same thing, but people are out of control. So, what to do now? Whenever there is a boom period, what will the government do? Whenever there is a recovery period, what is the government doing? All these things.
And I'm also guessing that boom and overheating periods are a good opportunity for some people to grab.
Yes, absolutely, because you have inflation, right? You have inflation going up. Lot of people have a lot of money. Now I'll start a business. One business I will start. Yes, a proper business you are going to start, and you are going to get a lot of, because people are ready to spend. Think about it. How many services today, how many products being sold in the market today are not required for you? Many. Too many. Yes or no? Still you are going to buy. So a good example for this is going to be this. You have a Great Indian Festival. Amazon Great Indian Festival, is it? So that sale, Republic Day sale. You don't want the product. Just because it has come and it has an offer, you buy it. Why did you buy? Because you have money. Yes? Okay. Anyways, we'll come to the government policy side. So, the entire trend starting from slowdown till depression, we call it as a deflationary cycle. It follows a deflationary trend. So, the prices are falling, that is why a deflationary trend. And also, it follows a contractionary trend. Contractionary. The GDP is contracting. It is a contractionary trend. And from depression to where? Overheating, sorry. From recovery to overheating, what is it like? It is an inflationary trend and expansionary mode. It is expansionary in nature. The cycle is expansionary. It expands. GDP expands. Here comes the critical point. If you understand this, it's like this chapter is done only. Now, slowdown. After the slowdown, stagnation, recession. So as you go down this path, it is worse. In any case, we have to come here itself. Recovery has to be done. What is the best way to recover from here? We have to give a stimulus. We have to give a stimulus to the system. What is that stimulus? I just have to somehow increase the aggregate demand. I have to somehow increase the aggregate demand. How do I increase the aggregate demand? How do I increase the remember John Maynard Keynes? Remember or not? Sir, somewhere at some point you had mentioned maybe. John Maynard Keynes, he suggests what? What should the government do now? The government has to spend on certain things. It has to build infrastructure. It has to put money in the hands of the people, maybe give subsidies and transfers, build infrastructure, reduce taxes, reduce interest rate, easy money. When you do provide more investment opportunities, encourage startups, when the government does all these things, look at it. Money is going out of the hands of the government or money is coming into the hands of the government? Going out of the hands of the government, which means it is spending more. Deficit will be increasing or deficit will be reducing? Fiscal deficit increases. That's it. Fiscal deficit increases. Why? Because it has to do these things. Correct? Once this much is done. Now the question is, from here to here, if it has to come, this work will be lesser or more? From slowdown to recovery path, the work will be lesser. Less spending it has to do. All of these less. Recession, stagnation to here, more it has to work. From recession to here, extra spending, more extra spending. Why? Because aggregate demand has fallen too much. The path is much more difficult for the government even as we descend down. Clear? Yes? And the time taken for recovery also will be more because the situation is worse. Done. Okay. Now you are the Prime Minister of a country. Your country is undergoing recession. You are the Prime Minister. You have your Council of Ministers. Let's say I am the economist. So you ask me, see, we are in recession. You are saying we are in recession. We don't understand what it is all. But people don't have jobs. The prices are on the lower side, right? Demand is not there. People are not able to buy, right? People are unhappy basically. GDP numbers, you are saying, this is how it is. Now, you tell me, what should I do? This is what you ask. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers ask. What suggestion will I give? I will tell, so this is what you are supposed to do. Correct? This is what you are supposed to do. Now, the first thing you are going to ask is, how much should I spend? You are going to ask me, how much should I spend? I will tell, so do one thing. We are here, no? In order to come to the path of recovery, it is going to take some 6 months, 7 months. Okay? We'll do one thing. According to my calculations, if you spend some 10,000 crore rupees, 10k crore rupees, if you spend, sir, we will recover. After considering everything, 10,000 crore rupees if we spend, over a period of 8 months, we have to keep spending pieces by pieces, we will recover. You will ask, again, tell me honestly, will we recover for sure? I am like, sir, give me some more time, I'll check. I'll check and now come back with a number. Sir, yes, we can recover, but to be on the safer side, let us spend a bit more. Now you say a bit more, 11k crore. But the Prime Minister and the other ministers are like, 8 months means we have elections in between. Can we do it faster? Sir, the only way to do it faster is what? Spend extra money faster. How do I spend extra money faster? Maybe this number, I'm going to make it 12,000 crore. According to my calculation, how much was supposed to be spent? 10k crore. And how much am I spending now? 12k crore. Now, initially, when I start spending this 10k crore, up to 10k crore, we are recovering. The moment it starts to go close to 10k crore, we'll see the boom. Whatever economy requires, it is getting everything. Now, the economy's capacity is to take in only 10,000 crore. It has taken 10,000 crore, everything is fine. But we want results faster. What did we do? We spent more. Boom becomes now overheating. Oversupply of money in the market. I was supposed to spend how much? 10,000 crore. How much did I spend? 12,000 crore. Now can we not spend, sir, what if the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are very good, they also understand economics. What if that is the case? if that is also the case, nobody wants to err on the side of negative. Everybody wants to make an error on the positive side itself.
So the last few years from COVID until now is essentially a period of
Absolutely, absolutely. So ever since COVID, whatever we have been doing is giving stimulus itself. We are giving stimulus to the economy. So, boom, overheating happened. Now, at overheating, what is happening? 2000 crore rupees extra in the market. New problems now. 6 months ago, 10 months ago, you are saying what? No employment, low prices, no demand, no jobs. This is what you are saying. Now again, meeting is called. What is this? Inflation is too high. I am like, I told you this is going to happen. No, it's fine. People were happy for some time at least. Do one thing. What should we do to reduce the prices immediately? What will I say? Sir, pull out 2000 crore rupees over a period of time. Over a period of time, we probably have to pull out 2000 crore rupees over a period of 6 months. Then up to 6 months, what is the case? Up to 6 months, sir, inflation will be there. No. Next month we have elections, pull out immediately. Can you guarantee by pulling out 2000 crore, everything will become fine? I am like, sir, no guarantee. Maybe 2500 crore we have to pull out. Instead of 2000 crore rupees pull out, what did we do? 2500 crore pull out immediately. When I say pull out 2500 crore, what are the things I am going to do? I am going to reduce the government spending, low fiscal deficit, increase the interest rates, yes, stop subsidies, higher taxes. This is what I will do. When I do this, automatically what will happen? Aggregate demand will start to fall. When aggregate demand falls, GDP growth rate falls, and again we are going towards slowdown. Done. These measures that you just took, is it facilitating the cycle or it is like bringing back? It is kind of bringing back. These are called counter-cyclical measures. Counter-cyclical. Counter-cyclical measures. And whatever measures we took here, it is going to push the cycle forward. Those are pro-cyclical measures. Stimulus package, whatever stimulus we are giving, this is a pro-cyclical measures. Now here, there was a point where the inflation has gone down, there is no inflation, deflation was there. We tried to bring the inflation up. How? By spending more. This is what we did to bring the inflation up. All these measures which we take to bring the inflation back, to increase the inflation, are reflationary measures. These are known as reflationary measures. These are called as reflationary measures. Inflation was not there. I am trying to increase the inflation. By how? Increasing the demand. What is this known as? Reflation and reflationary measures. Clear? Yes? So, see, we were here. What is pro-cyclical? Something which goes with the cycle. The cycle is this, a positive cycle. If something is making the cycle positive, we call it a pro-cyclical. Are these things making the cycle go in the positive direction? Yes. Clockwise direction it is moving. The aim of these things is not to go further in this cycle, to come back, which means it is counter-cyclical. That is why these are called counter-cyclical measures. All throughout, when we were here, when we were in, disinflation or deflation where the prices were very low. We took these measures so that inflation gets increased, aggregate demand increases, so that inflation gets increases, because of which growth rate also increases. We took these measures. What are these measures? We are trying to reignite the inflation. That is why reflationary measures. That is why we call them as what? Reflationary measures. This is the chapter. Done.
Could you also say that counter-cyclical measures are trying to instate a controlled slowdown process?
Yes, absolutely. So you are going to control this. Yes. So there is going to be a slowdown, but we are going to do it in a controlled manner. Yes. Clear? Anything, anywhere you want to ask? I think 2 diagrams, it is done. Entire chapter is done.
Is it related to inflationary gap and deflationary gap?
Which one? This one. You tell me. FD, the moment we say FD, it is related to what? Inflationary gap. Yes. Obviously, when we take these measures, FD will keep on increasing, which means there will be an inflationary gap created. Aggregate demand will far exceed the aggregate supply. Yes. Next, anything you want to ask? From the next session onwards, you are going to have Tawha Rahman sir, who is going to handle the rest of your economy. Understood? Anything you want to ask in whatever we have learned so far? Anywhere, anyone? Yes? Reflationary measures, right? Now the thing is, from here to here, were the prices going down or going up? Going down. From here to here, are the prices going up or going down? Going up. In order to cause these prices go up, did we do something? What did we do? Stimulus measures. What are these stimulus measures aimed at? To increase the growth rate. To increase the growth rate, what did we do? We reignited the inflation. Right? Reigniting of inflation is what? Reflation. That's all. So, whenever the inflation is lower, we take measures deliberately to increase the inflation. This is known as reflation.
So, right now in the US, we have a situation of overheating, and Trump is trying to prevent counter-cyclical measures.
He is trying to, prevent that. So that let there be overheating.
Yeah.
Let the production increase. Let the prices increase. I don't care. I want what? People to have jobs. People to have more money. People to do businesses.
Without actually addressing the core issue.
See, core issue in the sense, there are poor people. Trump is of the mindset like poor people will die. Let them die. Their problem. This is him. Yes, that is not the case with other economies, no? Other leaders. Yes?
But ultimately, what happens in the US will have a spillover effect when on people
Absolutely.
who are trying to make the right efforts.
Because, US is now practicing what? US is known for being a capitalist economy, an open economy. By definition, a capitalist economy is an open economy. But now it is trying to become more protectionist. Look at the irony here. What is the irony? The irony is USA philosophically is an open economy. It's trying to become more protective. On the other hand, China, philosophically it is a closed economy. What is it trying to become? An open economy. Who is right? Who is wrong? Mixed economy is right. Having a right mix is a good approach. Having a right mix. But again, Mix means between two. Balance, difficult.
So China has been, its GDP is being dominated by government spending and investments, like 60% of GDP for the last like 20, 30 years. How were they able to prevent overheating?
See, what they were doing is China, while it was spending too much, FD was there. The difference between, is there too much debt for China? Yes, there is debt for China as well. But the core issue here, whatever spending is happening, it's happening in a productive manner. Productive spending. They are building assets. Whereas when you look at India, in India also there is FD, there is a high debt level. In fact, when you compare the debt levels of China and India, you know, what is debt? FD combined over the years, right? Every year we have deficit, combining over the years it becomes debt. China has also spent, we have also spent. But China has made a lot of progress, we have not made much progress. Why? The reason is very simple. They have spent most of the money towards productive assets, infrastructure, assets which give return. In India, most of the spending has happened in an unproductive manner. Remember, I wrote the budget diagram. In the budget diagram, there was revenue side and capital side. In India, revenue expenditure is too much. Capex is lesser. There, the capex is high. In fact, for the kind of progress China has made today, its debt levels stand at somewhere around 58 to 60%, if I am not wrong. In India, the debt levels stand at somewhere around 75%, 75 to 80%.
And US is 120.
US is 120. 120% of its GDP is debt. Means what? Even if the government wants to clear all its debt, it has to sell its entire economy and at the same time capture some other economy and sell it as well. If it wants to settle everything. Now, why China was able to manage these things was because of most of its spending was where? Productive only. Debt was not a problem for them. Overheating, whenever it happened, it was able to manage. How? How was overheating managed? What is the best way to manage overheating?
Higher interest rates.
Higher interest rates, higher taxes. Yes? Now, whatever the problem is, because it is completely state controlled, people will be in control of the state, that is the government. During the time of recession, government is there. During the time of overheating, government is there. No problem. Yes?
You also kind of ensure that wealth concentration isn't too much.
Yes, wealth concentration doesn't happen, and if it is happening only with very few people who are very close to the government. Only them. Yes, now is that model good? Not essentially. No freedoms. Life is all about a trade-off. Okay? You want a life of freedom, you live in a democracy, but what is the cost? The cost is economic progress will be slightly slower. If you are ready to give up all those things, I don't want freedom, I'll listen to someone, whatever the other person says, whatever the leaders say, whatever the government says, then I will not protest. If I protest, they can punish me. If you are ready to give up some of the rights, freedoms, then you are going to have economic progress, economic growth. Are you ready for this trade-off is the question. India clearly is not ready for the trade-off. China was ready for the trade-off. That's it. So what is more important in life? Freedom is more important, money is more important. Freedom, see, that's it. Okay. All right. Next you have money, banking, so many things to learn, but we have laid foundations for almost every chapter. Okay, for almost every chapter we have laid foundations. When do you have the next economy class? Tomorrow you have it? Okay, all right. So in tomorrow's class, a new chapter. By then, I would ask you to run through every single topic that we have covered so far and then come to the class. Okay, done for today. Thank you. Have a nice day. We'll meet you again in your ethics class. Okay, again in ethics. Thank you. Online people, thank you. How many classes did we have so far? 7 or 8? 8 classes.